My goal is to do 120 minutes of practice, and I'm forced into, unfortunately, during holidays, into activity that was generating that type of ability to do that. We were able to produce 1,044 pieces of content. That's 213 minutes of long form content. My goal again in 2025 is to immediately reach $50,000 of revenue as quickly as possible, and then to get to a 7-figure run rate. Hopefully this will inspire you to become better at what you're doing and become a better player. Okay, this is January 23rd, 2025. My name is Matt Coffey. If you don't know who I am a agency owner. I run profit engines. We are a growing business. I recently sold my previous agencies, which I built to multi-million and put them into the Inc. 5000. And now I am helping other people by doing coaching and doing agency services, and absolutely trying to crush it on the music side as well. I have today my catch up, which is the living louder, which I've coined as my mantra for moving into 2025. The top 10 things I am working on. So each month I will go through for 2025 my experiences in these top 10 things that I'm trying to accomplish for this year and give you a score and tell you what I'm doing. So hopefully this will inspire you to become better at what you're doing and become a better player. And so that first lets me on to my top 10 things. One is to become a better player. So musician wise, as you can tell from the material behind me, I'm trying to be a better player, a better strategist. And if we go back the last 30 days, due to holiday travel and travel that I was tied up quite a bit near the end of the month, my goal is to do 120 minutes of practice, and I'm forced into, unfortunately, during holidays, into activity that was generating that type of ability to do that. I was relatively close near the end of the month because of gigs that were coming up that I had to practice for. So again, to become a player, you have to put the hours in, and that's my strategy. Overall, I'll give my score a D for the last 30 days. Financially, which is probably what you might be most interested in, although it's second for me, we reached $35,768 in revenue for the month of December, which profit was $11,251. I'll give myself a B plus. We added 2 new customers. We added a new reseller for our services, but majority of that business actually came from catching up on payments that were due to us by the end of the year. So we had collections run for the year. Also, strong collections for catching up on the books for all of the year-end hosting. So that's a little bit inflated. So that's why I'm not giving myself an A, because most of it was done from collections. I'll break down the revenue sources in the next version of this, but I just want to give you the basic overline. My goal again in 2025 is to immediately reach $50,000 of revenue as quickly as possible, and then to get to a 7-figure run rate after that. The timing on that will be discussed later as we go through this year. My personal brand. So we were able to produce 1,044 pieces of content. That's 213 minutes of long form content. That means that they were interviews or long form entertainment. And then 14 different shorts that I did and recorded and produced. And although these were mainly focused on interviews, there wasn't enough direct content, in my opinion. But, however, production was online for the first time, making it over 1,000 pieces of content being produced into 7 different channels across the interwebs. So I'm happy with the production. So deliverables were great. I do want to do more straight ahead educational videos that will tie together with my upcoming academy. So we'll give that an A minus. For shape, core, agility, and ability to be, let's just say, healthy. Again, this suffered because of the holidays. I'll say that in general because what I think is that most people get slammed during the holidays with just travel. I ended up with maybe uh, most of my days were still good, meaning that I tried to, even on a holiday, to keep in my 5 and 5. So that's 5 times a day, 5 times a week running or doing um, either running or doing something close to running, meaning stair climbing or burpees or something that keeps me going for at least a good 20 to 30 minutes solid of aerobic activity, and then going to the gym 5 days a week. Uh, what I did notice that people who, when I traded photographs in the holidays, um, they said that I looked skinny. And I think it's because my face is skinnier than normal because my skin is kind of like pulled to my face a little bit differently than it usually is, because my face has been a little bit more puffy during the summer and the fall. But again, my weight is 207. So I'm still above my 200-pound goal, which I was at one point during the end of the summer. But again, additional weight from the holidays. But I'm certainly down from the 236 pounds I weighed just before the end of the summer, which is interesting. So I'll give that again a B minus. Original music. So I'm working on new original songs. I have 2 quality production pieces that have been done. I'm very happy with that. The content's gotten into format, so I'm very comfortable with how things have come. I know there will be continued back and forth as I get through working with the producer, and there'll be sizable changes to the music structure still. But I've also come up with a title for the EP, so I'm going to do a 4-song EP like I did last year, and I'll work in both the studio timing and production strategy for the videos, and those will come out this summer. But we're in production; things are moving along, so I'm happy with that. I'll give that a B plus. I still have 2 other songs to get done in the can, but from a timing perspective, I'm pretty happy. We're ahead of the curve to some degree. Okay, so shows. So now we're talking about building the shows for the upcoming year and what happened in the last 30 days. Uh, it would have been an F, except one show came out of the blue, which really changed the paradigm of a lot of things that happened. So we were able to play a show in the last 30 days, which was amazing. But other than that, there was absolutely nothing going on, and no gigs booked. So it was basically, again, timing, holidays, everybody's gone. You really don't get any shows booked in the last 30 days because people are not making decisions until the second week in January typically. But we were able to play an amazing show, warmed up for a national act in Blairstown, to a sold out show with Scott Sherrard and his band, which was amazing. A very interesting show. It's all up on YouTube if you're interested in looking at it. But again, now just starting to get the gigs in. We have about 5 on the table now that have been put into production. Again, I'm looking to do 15 shows this year. So we have a third of the way there. But as the months go by, shows become less and less available to get because people get booked, and the good shows get booked quicker. So we're trying to get there, but we have a couple already lined out. I will say what's nice is that we did get booked again for the Rock Ribs and Ridges. So we will be playing with Grand Funk Railroad and Blackstone Cherry and Artemis Pyle from Lynyrd Skynyrd. So that's good, although that was already anticipated to some degree that would happen. So I'm not really counting it. That's why I'm giving it a C plus in total, because we could have had a lot more stuff booked, but I waited too long with picking and choosing my booking agent, and that took us a step back. So it's a lesson learned to get your stuff ready to go. We could have had stuff booked already in the spring at this point. However, we'll move on to the next one. The book that I'm writing, I'm very happy I've chosen someone to write the book on my behalf. It's not a ghostwriter. I've actually written the book already, but it isn't going into production with a production house. And we went through the process. I'm happy with how it came out. There are 13 chapters that are going to be delivered. I just need to provide the stories in front of each chapter. So that will be done this week. And hopefully we'll By the next time I'm doing this updated vlog, I'll have a lot more data on the book and how it's progressing. I'm assuming it will come out somewhere between April and May at this point, and that will be an amazing run to get that done. Since it's already kind of half written or mostly written, it's going to be easier for the folks to be able to get this done. So I'm actually great. It's in production. So I'll give that an A minus. Friendships and networking. So I'll put this as a D minus. I really haven't booked any events to get on the calendar. The only reason why it's a D minus, not an F, is that I did talk to someone today actually about getting something booked regionally here for the events that I'd like to get started to get done for GHL. I'd like to do a regional GHL event. I still haven't put together the time to get out to the studio. It's my fault for not doing it yet. There's been a little bit of kludginess with the studio because of some departures of the staff there. So it kind of screwed up my ability to get this done. But I'm planning on getting out there next week. So hopefully that will become at least a C plus or a C to get one in the books for this quarter, and then plan on the other ones, the other trips that I'd like to do for networking and friendship strategy for next couple of months. So I'm going to give that as a D minus. Again, bad execution on my side, but again, there's no excuses. It's just getting it done. Coaching and improvements. So as I mentioned before, I want to get 3 new coaches this year, one for vocals, one for business, and one for my community. I already got one for the production of my album. So Scott Shard's going to produce my album. So that's a coach that I've already paid for and got him involved, and I'm almost on a every other week basis with him going through production of the album. So that's done. But the other coaches, vocals need to be done. I have my targets set on a person I'd like to get involved to help me with that. And then the other 2, business coach. I'm very much involved in making decisions on that. I've had a couple of discussions with 2 different coaches. Not as panned out yet. Not that I've wanted to make that happen immediately, but I do need to get that into production because it will force me to do the things I need to do for the business. And then I need to desperately get a community coach, someone who can help me build the community and get that done. Those coaches are deliberately being somewhat delayed because of the fact that there was activity the last 2 weeks that I couldn't put in front of it. So it might be a priority, but I'm going to give it an F because there's no improvements yet. So that is my weakest spot on all of the top 10 things in my mantra for Living Louder 2025. The last thing would be the family activities. We had a failed opportunity to go to Colorado in April because of timing. That didn't pan out. However, we have our summer trip booked, and we are talking about a Puerto Rico trip as well, or at least that's 2 out of 3. So I'm going to give myself a C minus. There's another trip to be planned as well that will be in the fall-ish time. But I believe that we can get at least the resurrection of the Colorado trip rebuilt. So that will kind of count as well. That's why I'm giving it a C minus, because we've all agreed to go on some trip. It just might have to be local. So that is the overall strategy and things that have happened in the vlog for me. I like to include the personal stuff because I think if it's just all business, then people don't really enjoy it. So overall, 77.7, which is a C plus for the month of January so far. I'm looking forward to reaching these other goals. As I start to grade myself and do better at being able to manage and monitor what I think is important in my life, I will improve upon the things that I can improve upon and get hopefully into that GPA that's recognizable as excellent. And that only happens when I put the effort and energy towards everything that can make me a better person. And I hope this inspires you to inspire yourself to do better in what you're doing, because we all want to have fun, and all these things relate to having more fun in my life. And so the higher my GPA goes up, my goals per year, per annum, that are accomplished, the more fun I have, because all those goals mean that I get to do the things I want to do, and they accomplish the things that I'm looking to do in life to make this life the most fun I can have in one life.